On a bright spring morning, the royal jet touched down on the tarmac. As the door opened, all eyes turned to Princess Catherine, stepping out, graceful as ever. The cameras zoomed in, hoping for a glimpse of poise, a dazzling smile, or perhaps a fashion statement. Yet it was not her dress or her wave that captured attention. Instead, it was the tiniest detail, a small beige plaster wrapped around her right thumb. For a moment, the world paused. The flashbulbs sparkled. The bandage, so easy to miss, became the star of the scene. It was not the sort of thing that usually made headlines, but as Catherine greeted officials, shook hands and waved, the plaster caught the light again and again. In that instant, an ordinary moment became extraordinary. The princess, so often perfect, now bore a mark of everyday life, and that was enough to set the world abuzz. The first photos hit the internet within minutes. On Twitter, hashtags like Princess Plaster and Royal Bandage began to trend. Instagram filled with close-ups of Catherine's hand. Some fans worried, was the princess hurt? Others admired her bravery for not hiding the injury. Theories started to spread. Soon, jokes appeared. One post read, "Even princesses need plasters." The plaster became a link between royalty and everyone else. A tiny detail turned global connection. Newspapers and TV stations joined the frenzy, covering Catherine's mysterious plaster. Headlines screamed, "Catherine's mysterious plaster." Morning shows invited doctors to guess at the wound. News outlets listed possible reasons, while experts weighed in. The story was everywhere, crossing borders and languages. Even those who rarely followed royal news were drawn in, all because of a single tiny plaster. The public response was mixed, but mostly warm. Many people expressed concern for Catherine's well-being. "Hope she's all right," wrote one fan, adding heart emojis. Others shared stories of their own small accidents. "I cut my finger yesterday too," wrote another, attaching a photo of a cartoon bandage. Some people wondered why the fuss. After all, everyone wears a plaster from time to time. Yet that was the point. The princess, usually so polished, was suddenly relatable. For a moment, she was not just a royal figure, but a person like everyone else. Children, inspired by the news, decorated their own plasters with stickers and drawings. Schools joked about starting a plaster day. Even some hospitals reported an uptick in cheerful patients hoping for a princess plaster. The excitement was playful, not mean-spirited. In a world often divided, a small injury became a reason for shared smiles and gentle jokes. Why did a tiny bandage catch the world's attention? Well, partly it was the surprise. Royalty is meant to be flawless, almost untouchable. Yet here was proof that even princesses can have everyday mishaps. It made Catherine seem more real, more human. People long for connection, especially in a fast-moving world. When someone famous shows a little vulnerability, it reminds us that everyone faces small struggles. The plaster was a symbol of this shared humanity. There was also comfort in the ordinary. With so much news about big, serious problems, A small story like this felt refreshing. It was a pause, a reminder of life's simple moments. Finally, it was about hope. If a princess could smile and carry on with a plaster, perhaps anyone could face their own small setbacks with grace. Inside the palace, the reaction was calm and measured. Official spokespeople offered a simple statement. The princess is well. It is a minor injury and nothing to worry about. No drama, no long explanation, just reassurance. Princess Catherine herself appeared in public soon after, the plaster still visible. She smiled, chatted, and continued with her duties as if nothing unusual had happened. Her calmness set the tone. There was no need for panic or further speculation. Behind the scenes, staff were amused by the fuss. Some joked about starting a royal first aid club. Others simply appreciated the public's concern. The palace, as always, kept its focus on service and dignity. In a world hungry for drama, the royal response was gentle and wise. Sometimes the best answer is simply to carry on. How did a small square of fabric become a symbol? At first it was just a plaster, a tool for healing a tiny wound. But through the power of attention, it grew in meaning. For many, it became a sign of vulnerability, courage, and connection. Symbols do not always start as grand things. Sometimes it is the smallest details that stick in our minds. The bandage began as a practical necessity, but soon it stood for something larger. The idea that even those we admire face life's little troubles. People looked at their own hands and saw something royal about them. They felt closer to someone usually seen as distant. The humble plaster became a bridge between ordinary and extraordinary. This is how meaning evolves, from simple objects, through shared attention, to lasting symbols. Before the internet, stories like this might have faded quickly. Today they grow and change as millions join in. The plaster became a meme, a joke, a moment of gentle folklore. Some made digital art, others wrote songs or poems. The story was retold in many languages and forms. What began as a fleeting detail became a modern legend. People added their own twists. Did the plaster have a secret royal crest? Was it magic? The truth was simple, but the fun was in the storytelling. This is the power of collective imagination. In the digital age, even the smallest things can become shared myths. Stories move fast, they change shape, and sometimes they help us see magic in the mundane. The bandage was no longer just a piece of fabric. It became a tiny piece of global folklore. Princess Catherine's plaster reminds us of the power of shared attention. A tiny detail, seen by millions, became a symbol of hope, humour, and humanity. Even in a busy world, people can come together over something simple. We look for connection, even in a bandage. For a moment, the princess's tiny plaster became the world's gentle obsession, a small sign of our shared humanity.